warfare is in the second heavens, and people don't know. If you don't pray specifically for that plane before you go. Okay, let me tell y'all something, okay? Let me tell you something. If you're going on the trip, if you know you're going on the trip, why would you wait to get on the plane to pray? You're already defeated. If you know you're getting ready to shift and go to another country, go to another city, go to another state, you better take time out for 1 month, baby, and you better do some laboring and prayer to deal with every spirit that will come against that plane. Not just come against the mechanical plane, but you better pray for the mind of the pilots. You better pray that there's no demonic covenants with stewards. You better pray it's not hijacked spiritually or naturally. You better pray for the landing gear. You better pray for the fuel lines. You better pray for the engine. You better pray for the computers. You better pray that no cargo, nobody does anything. You got to understand what you must do to pray in this season to come against every power that will come against you. You better learn what to do before you go. Most people become victimized because you wasn't prepared to go. You prepared your clothes. Yeah, you went out and bought new clothes. You got new toothbrushes. You went out and bought new shoes because you wanted to look good when you left. Baby, I'm going shopping. Yeah, you going shopping. You better have new clothes, but those clothes you better be wearing are spiritual clothes too. You better put on new garments. I went to Chicago because God told me to go. Now, my problem, God will tell me to go places without giving me instructions until I get there. But I'm smart enough now to know that it ain't no vacation. He normally send me in warfare. Before I get to Chicago, my wife is praying because she wants me to come back home so I can continue to cook for her. She's smart. She go take time, but she be praying. Take time, ain't nobody gonna cut. Now he's the baker around here. Yata. She's not gonna allow the baker to cook. She's not. Because of that, she would make a statement to me and say, "It's something about the hotel you're going in. It's something there that wants you to die." I said, "Oh, yeah?" I said, "Well, how about Taya?" I started praying against evil bellhops that would have my luggage. Any room that I would be assigned in, no curses would be left behind. Just bed, toothbrushes, sinks, even the AC vent, where spirits can come through the AC vent, because normally we cover everything with except the AC vent, but that's how spirits travel. They travel through the air. If you don't know what I'm saying, you'll become victimized by it. I was entered into another territory. Watch this. And the second, I had no problems until I got to Chicago. When I got to Chicago, the second we got over the water, the plane turbulence came. If you don't know what that represented, what that means, if you get over water and there's turbulence, there's something that's in the waters that is causing the plane to respond the way that it does. Remember Jesus, when he would speak to the storm, he would say, "Peace be still." He would speak to the wind and he would speak to the waves, the wind and the water. He would speak to both because there was something in it, but there was water that was there with the wind. So when I felt the turbulence, I knew that somebody knew that I was here. I get to the hotel. I get in home. Immediately, it looked like my headboard was a portal. You would look at the ambiance of the room. That's what you would see. Oh, this is such a nice room. It got this and it got all this space. And I looked at that headboard. I said, that looked like an eye. It's a portal, right? I said, okay. I put my little bags down. I said, I'm getting ready to take me a shower. I pulled the shower curtain back. and looked in the ceiling. It was covered in blood. Somebody had made sacrifices before I got there because they knew I was coming there. My wife said, "It's something about the hotel." God told me, he said, "I brought you into this territory to deal with the spirit of death." Yes, I told you banshees are signs when we leave introductions. I'd already dealt with the banshees in their community. They had to give up the community. They had to give up the property. They had to give up the houses. So they were upset with me. They were now trying to prepare stuff for me in another city. You do know spirits don't need passports. They don't have jurisdictions. They were preparing because they never wanted the Christians, those Christians, to come in those houses because those Christians didn't compromise. He coming back. Ain't no wrong with that. I know he gonna run back to mama now. He's the boss. Okay. Yeah, and I got there, and then he running now. He gone. He said, "No, I got freedom." He said, "I got freedom." I want y'all to hear me, okay? I want y'all to hear what I'm trying to say. I want you to hear me. I get to Chicago, and I know it's gang infested. That's where I came from. I moved to Houston from Chicago. So I know. I'm hearing gunshots ring out all night. Right? People being murdered. And ambulance, the sirens of ambulance all night long. All night. And God would speak to me and tell me this. He said, people think. Now, I'm going to say something. I want y'all to really, really, really pay attention to what I'm going to say. Okay? I don't want you to miss what I'm getting ready to say. So murders was taking place, and God would tell me and give me these words. He said, people think for some reason that these murders are just people being murdered. God told me, no, these are sacrifices. In order for that territorial spirit to reign in Chicago, they needed sacrifices and blood needed to be poured out. He said blood, they were sacrifices. When they got shot up, they didn't get shot up for any reason. That they were targeted because to keep the covenant of blood, it must be poured out. It must be spilled in the streets of Chicago in order for those principalities to continue to remain, to abide, and to reside. And if you don't deal with the principalities, you can lock the people up, but the principalities will still use somebody else that's weak to go kill other people for more sacrifices, and they'll still prevail. So God sent me there to deal with the powers that was over Chicago, to deal with the ones that were making sacrifice, and I had to make sacrifice. Now I'll tell you how old that spirit is. So when you look at television, they would say 30 people got murdered last night. 30 people were murdered that night that I was there. I was there for a whole week. Imagine if I was there for 7 days, if 30 people got murdered every day, there's 210 people that were sacrificed, that the enemy sacrificed. That spirit is an old spirit. Let me show you how old that spirit is that causes murder. Go to John chapter 8 and verse 44. Girl, you better watch it with that song. Oh, the young grasshopper started to sing. What do it say? John chapter 8, verse 44. Let me show you how old his spirit is. Stop, wait a minute. He was a murderer from when? Was that the beginning of our time? The beginning of our age? And in order to understand that, that he was a murderer from the beginning, you would have to go back to Genesis chapter 4 where Cain now kills Abel. Watch this. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show y'all this. Please, I'm trying to show you something, how old this spirit is. Please hear this. I'll show you how old this spirit is that's over Chicago that continues the murder. When God told Cain, don't you know if you do well, I'll receive you. But if not, sin is crouching. It's lying at the door. Now your desires would be his, and his desires would be yours. Y'all will merge as one. So because Cain did not have the ability to deal with the sin, which was a person, not an act, when they merged, now the ER came behind the sin. Now he's a sinner because he's merged with sin, which is Satan. Watch this. Please hear this. Watch this. So after everyone is murdered, what did Cain do with Abel? He buried him. So now we are watching the same system that murdered Cain. Cain, he was a murderer that would now kill Abel, but we would watch that system in the earth where he would put him back in the earth. So I'm trying to show you that this spirit is old. It is a principality, and its desire is for sacrificing. How many times are we going to watch people in our own family be sacrificed? We are saying that they were crazy. It's not that they're being crazy. They were influenced by another spirit. So because of that, that spirit of murder that was over that territory came and murdered somebody. And we're going back through the same process from the beginning of time. When Cain killed Abel, you have to understand the territory that you're going into. He was a murderer from the beginning. And we still use the words that were in the beginning. Murderer. Jesus used it. This was a spirit, but it's governed by Satan. So I went there, and he told me, pray against the spirit of death. This is my assignment. And you know me, I wanted to go, because I was on the Magnificent Mile down Chicago and downtown. I wanted to go and look around. He said, sir, this is not a vacation for you. No window shopping, no souvenirs. This is straight warfare. I want you to deal with the spirit of death. I didn't know that was over Chicago. The first time, my wife dragged me back to Chicago because she wanted to play in the snow. We went by. Now, I'm going to say something. I want y'all to hear this, okay? She wanted to go because she's never been to Chicago. And I'm like, you don't want to go to Chicago in the winter. It doesn't make sense. We'll be stuck in the house. Nope. Got on the flight, went to Chicago. And the first sign that we went, she was attacked. Watch this. We were there. We were attacked. Yet she was throwing snowballs, hit me all in the head with snow, laughing and playing. But watch this. The enemy attacked her breathing apparatus to where she had a hard time breathing. It wasn't the atmosphere. It was an attack. Oh, I'm showing you. I'm showing you what happens when you go in certain territories, when you go to certain cities, when you go to certain places. There are some places that God will not allow even his apostles to go in. He would tell them, don't go to Asia Minor. Yes, he would also tell him, don't you dare go into Samaria. You don't have the anointing yet to deal with the spirits that are there. Don't you dare go into Samaria. Don't leave Jerusalem until you receive power. If you don't have power, powers are waiting on you to come. You must understand that every place ain't a place to go for you because they got a sale in California. And you wanted to go to the original Waffle House. You better stay in your house and make waffles if you don't have no power. You better stay in your house. You better stay in your house if you don't have power. That has been the challenge and the problem that we have and that we're faced with. You think that you can go anywhere? No, not without permission. And even with permission, you better make sure that you have the power to go because those spirits are waiting for you to come. They'll play on your ignorance. You'll go and buy a souvenir. Well, go and buy that souvenir. Well, and you bring the souvenir home not knowing that witches made sure that you got it. Oh, this necklace looks perfect on you. It matches with your decor. It's going to go with everything that you got. And you go there, and we got a sale just for you today. When you hear just for you, pip. Exit stage left. Because they're telling you we have programmed this just for you. Yes, they're going to make sure, watch this, it's according to what you like. Now, I'm going to say something because I know Miss McFarland is from New Orleans. A little bit over there is from New Orleans. I'm calling it a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. She'll give you a little trouble here, a little trouble over there. It's going to act equal to a whole bunch of little trouble. So now, I know better than to, my wife, when she was younger, she would go and celebrate New Orleans with some of her pastors. And some of her pastors would go to Mardi Gras. Now, I'm going to say this, please hear me. People don't know how many people have prayed over them bees that they're going to throw. And they have shops. Well, I want y'all to see this. That some of those shops have already been dedicated to spirits of death, witchcraft, sorcery. So they know that people are going to come into those shops just to be nosy. And they're going to come in and walk around. God, girl, this is nice up in here. Not realizing nor understanding that what you're getting ready to come into is going to curse you. You give the enemy legal grounds. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay. Maybe you may not believe that. It's hard to believe it, right? That's hard to believe. Okay. Just say I had COVID. Right? And you find outside of the building. You ain't got no problems. None, not one. You ain't cough, sneeze, belch, burp, nothing. You haven't done nothing. And the second you come into the room where I got COVID, it's not going to ask you permission. All you need to do is be in my vicinity. Now all of a sudden, you leave with my symptoms. You leave with my sickness, and you won't realize that you got the sickness until you have the symptoms. The symptoms is identification that now you have my sickness. Who was I around? I was around that pastor. That pastor was coughing, sneezing, burping, belching. He was doing all that. Now I'm around here. I'm around. Now you carried my sickness, but the sickness is you won't know until you have the symptoms. So when you go into some of these shops in these cities, you don't realize that diseases and sicknesses and the spirits are already there. You didn't realize that. It's not going to ask your permission, but the second that you get into its vicinity, you've granted it permission to stay with you. Lawrence, could you get me, I have some cologne right there. It's in the black. Soon it's on the black desk, black counter. You're going to see this in the black glass. Right behind that door. Right there. Right behind the door. Right behind the door. Right behind the door. On the right side. On the right side. On the right side. Jesus Christ, Lord. Lawrence is going to cause me to cut a braid. I'm going to cut a braid. Right here. Watch this. They mix their own cologne, perfume. Watch this. Watch how they get you. They get you with their own watch. We're saying cologne and perfume, but these are potions. Yes, these are potions. This is how they interact with people. So guess what they do? I have something for you. I would like you to try this. I would like you to smell it. It is very nice. It's just very clean. I think you will like it. Watch. It's not the real thing. It's an imitation of it. So they give you the real name of it. This is what Gone Girl or Gucci Girl, whatever they call it, the cologne. What is it? Irresistible. It's not irresistible, but it's a potion that smells like irresistible. Yes, that's the cologne. Good Girl, that's what it's called, with the heel and all that. Y'all know the cologne, perfume, women perfume. So watch this. In order for them to get you, they spray it on you. And here you are with no thinking that it's, thinking that it's just cologne, perfume. Oh, that do smell good, yeah. How much is it? We'll sell it to you today. We'll give you a great discount. We'll sell it to you for $20. Matter of fact, we'll give you 2 for $20. And they're giving you 2 for $20, knowing that this is the double curse that will come upon you. Yes, they needed you to release it in your atmosphere, on your body. You didn't know that they were cursing every part that you're going to utilize this perfume or cologne. You don't understand how this works. And you've given them permission to kill you. And you wonder why you're sick, where it's coming from. God, and you're praying, and you're praying, and there's no resolve, because God said, because you went down there to New Orleans. Yes, because they can cook. You didn't know blood was in the food. Oh. Okay. All right. You thought that was the original red beans and rice. Hear what I'm trying to tell you. Now, I learned this before Christendom. I'm telling you, before I was in the Christ like I'm in Christ, it took God to get me out of Louisiana. I couldn't get out on my own. I didn't know nothing about God. It shows you that the mercy and the hand of God that was on my life. That was a young lady I used to talk to. I was crazy, y'all. Y'all got to forgive me. Because I talked to more than one. In the same city. That's dangerous. It's dangerous. Now, let me say this. This was my BC days now. You know what BC is, right? Before Christ. This was AD. This was BC. I got to say that when it comes to BC. I got to tell people this was before Christ. I got to tell people that. This was before Christ. What? And people, listen to me. People will try to identify me by a soundbite, by what I just said. I knew it. I just knew there was something right about that pastor. Okay. Let this be my disclaimer. Okay, I'm just going to be my disclaimer. I got to see. Where are you from? Columbus, Ohio, right? So he's from Columbus, Ohio. So he's from there. He's not there. He's right here in Texas. He's not in Columbus. So when I tell people what I had to overcome, I overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and the words of my testimony. So I'm telling you my testimony. So that means if he's from Columbus, Ohio, he's not there. I'm not there in the same place. That was my BC days, so I got to explain it to you that way. Okay. Okay. I have to explain it that way. And somebody, they knew I like to eat. Not understanding that her grandmother controlled the whole town. Yes, she was the voodoo priestess. Now, I didn't know any of this stuff. I didn't know. I used to watch them play Ouija boards. And I'm telling y'all, I didn't know any. Look, I'm like, I'm saying to myself, ain't none of this stuff real. That's a lie. This is not true. I was that dumb in the house with them, talking to a girl whose grandmother was the voodoo priestess of the town. They playing with Ouija boards. I'm tripping. And I'm saying, ain't none of this stuff real. Y'all think I'm crazy? Y'all moving this with your own hands. And there was a girl, I'll never forget. She was playing the game. She was just playing it. Her and two more other people. They all had their little fingers on it. And she asked, Ouija, who are you? And it went to, I'm your grandmother. And, she had words that were not in the Webster Dictionary when it said that. Yeah, her words were in the Urban Dictionary. I'll let y'all figure that one out. She got the, using the words, cussing. I'm telling you, that's a lie. Say, if you my grandmother, where are you from? No problem, let me show you. I am from Jamaica. Oh, that's where your grandmother from. She took her hands off that board and started cussing. So I cussed more. I'm showing you. I don't believe that. And I mean, she was messed up when she saw that. I said, well, okay, Ouija. Nobody know my name in this city. I said, well, Ouija. Not Luigi. Not on Mario now. That thing told me it didn't go to my name. It went to all three of my initials, TJG. I said, yeah. If I wasn't a believer then, I said, I believe in it. And the girl tried to keep me in the city under voodoo. So they had a big thing at her grandmama's house. Me not knowing nothing about Christ, nothing about spirits, voodoo, hexes, ink. I didn't know any of that stuff. That woman invited me, and here I am saying, well, I ain't got to pay for nothing today. Not knowing that I would have to pay for it. My soul, it would require me. I sat there and ate that food. I'm like, man, this is red beans and rice. It's free. That's why I don't eat from everybody. I don't even care if it's a fast food restaurant. I don't, listen to me. I ate that food. I ate it. I mean, they gave me like 3 helpings of it, too. They were helping to curse me. They were helping to curse. I was helping myself. You want another? Give him another bowl. He still look like he got some more room. And here I am thinking that they like me. 2 hours later, it is my first experience of what I had. Watch this. I would eat that food. Sometimes God will give you moments to where you can relate or reflect back to how his hand was on you, even when you wasn't serving him. Sometimes I have those moments. I should have never made it out of this one. Listen, 2 hours later after helping myself, I'm like, well, this is just abundance. The Lord said, 'It's abundance. 2 hours later, 2 hours later, I threw up. Watch this. But you know how people throw up and it just fall out of your mouth. It wasn't that type of throw up. It was skeeting out of my mouth as it would make it to that door. That's how it was coming out of my mouth. God was having all of that to come out of my body before I knew it. And then somebody would come back and tell me, well, you know her mother's the voodoo priestess of the city. I said, well, guess what? That's the end of this relationship. Oh, that's the end of this one. Watch this. Watch this. At that time, I had a 380. Little small gun. I kept it with me, kept it under my little dashboard for protection. Boy, I tell you, always some kind of interruption of a phone. Hear this. That took place, and in that taking place, the girl who I said I was getting rid of pulled my gun. Pulled my gun, cocked it back. Oh, you better hear this story. And pointed the gun straight to my head. Said, you can't leave me. I told you the death do us part. I said, ain't no ring on my finger. And I said, I didn't tell you that. And she pulls the trigger. Phew. And the gun didn't go off, but I did. The attempt, watch this. See, you would think that it was a domestic disturbance. It wasn't a domestic disturbance. It's just the enemy didn't want me to leave their bloodline. The second that I thought that I was, now listen, at that time I was a real strong guy. Had muscles everywhere. I had muscles on my earlobes. I had just muscles everywhere. I took the gun. I ain't hit her with the gun. But I took her, and I wanted to have her to catch flight. Listen to me. I threw the girl across 2 beds. She had cat reflexes. They say cats land on their feet. Well, she landed on her feet, and she came right back. Bit me in my chest. I'm telling y'all how to. I'm showing you how when you go to certain territory, I'm showing you what's in the territory. If you don't have the knowledge, you become a victim of it. I threw her 3 times, and she came back each time. I'm like, get off me. Get off me. Are you crazy? I finally got the chance. I'm calling her sister. Her sister, y'all better come get this one. It's crazy. I'm like, man, how in the world I'm going to get away from this? And they told me the only way that you're going to survive it, watch this, is you have to get beyond the waters that you crossed to get here. I said, well, that's all? I just got to get past the waters? I started my car. I thought I was going somewhere. My car. I was watching attacks that will try to keep me in that place because that place was a sign for my death. That territory was a sign to kill. I did not understand that that territory was already plagued. Me in their bloodline that I could not get out because of the food that I ate. And the woman that I slept with was a covenant. I'm trying to tell you, that woman was crazy. The whole family. I'm like, y'all trying to kill me? And they were saying that her sister's husband came down there for a weekend but could never leave. He came for a weekend and could never leave. They buried his underwear. They buried it. They took strands of his hair and burnt it over candles. Spoke incantations over it. He never knew. So he went just for a weekend and couldn't leave. Maybe that's why my hair fell out that boy. Okay. Let me come back. All right, let me come back. Okay. I used to have long hair, y'all, so my hair was longer than Okay, let me see. My hair was like Christian length. Yep, that's how long my hair was. Probably a little longer than my wife laughing. Can you imagine somebody swole up and got hair that long? This? Yeah, yeah. My hair was that long. I'm telling you. And sometimes I used to wear two braids. Before Bone Thugs and Harmony, I was okay. Before them, it was me. Okay. I'm saying that, and I'm being humorous, because when I went to Louisiana, I didn't know the dangers. I thought that my body was my own, and I can do with what I wanted to do with it. Watch. I left. I finally broke the curse. My car started. I got out of Louisiana. Watch this. And the girl followed me back to Houston. She sure did. Now, okay. I knew after that. I said, you know what? I guarantee you I get married now. Hear me. I got married. I got married. I said, forget this junk. These people are crazy. I got married after that because of my encounter. I didn't understand that my hand, God's hand, was on my life. I did not know that I could not go to certain territories and go to certain communities because I did not know the dangers that was there. I want you to go to Deuteronomy chapter 2. Yeah, verse 1. And this, watch, I'm going to pray this prayer in verse 1 over everybody. I haven't forgot about Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 28 to pray it over you. But I'm going to make sure that I pray Ezekiel, Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 1. It's going to start off by saying, you have compassed this mountain long enough. Of the Red Sea. Many days unto me, saying, have compassed this mountain long enough. Stop right there. Turn you northward, right? Okay, watch this. I want you to hear this. So it's going to be my prayer now for everyone that's here. It said, you have compassed this mountain long enough. So for 38 years, they had surrounded and went in the same circle, the same situation, the same problems. It was time now to break the cycle. Some of you have been in the same cycle for a long time. And I'm praying today that this be the day. Watch this, please. I want Miss Nicole to hear this. Because, Nicole, the mental anguish and the stress where the enemy attack your mind. So I'm saying this to you, and I want you to hear this. But this is going to be the day that everything that is cycled your entire bloodline. So your grandmother went through this, your grandfather, and all these people that's in your bloodline went around the same mountain. But I'm telling you today that today is going to end for you, is going to end for your daughter. I decree and I declare that, Father, I declare that just as you said that this cycle must end, that every cycle, every network, every system that has been aligned against your life, I decree and I declare that every bloodline cycle that has caused you to fail repeatedly, marriage, body, health, finances, I decree and I declare, let those yokes be destroyed. I decree and I declare, this is your season to go ahead. This is your season to move northward. I decree and I declare, just as you told Moses, you say you're no respecters of persons. I declare today in the name of Jesus that you shall go northward. Okay, go. Listen to me, okay? Let me tell you this real quick, okay? Because the financial challenges that you have, you're not going to see them anymore. All right, let me, guys, y'all got me going to a whole nother place. All right, finish reading real quick, just to show y'all, give y'all proof. Now, let me, before you start reading again, my challenge is, okay, jeez. My challenge is this. Now, you, now that was one person. Okay, well, I have to use something to explain it. If you look at the, where's a little bit? I want us to see something real quick. I want us to see something. I want her to put some stuff on these screens. I do. I want her to put something on the screens because I have to pray against it. It's okay. He gonna stop. I got it. I want you to pull up dust that come from the Sahara Desert. I want you to look at the date and the time. I want to show you something. Now, I'm only bringing this out for a reason or a purpose because it just hit my spirit. It just hit my spirit. Hey, I need you to pull up on the screens stuff from the news about dust coming from Africa. I want them to see the date. So I can teach you something about how stuff works spiritually. Y'all better leave the pastor alone. Pastor said he coming to preach. Go on, preach. Go on. He said he going behind the podium. He know where he going. He said, you caught me again. Well, at least you're going to stay in shape. You got it? What date is that? What date do they say? I need to see the date. Nope, that's 2020. Oh, June 25th. Update June 25th. Right? Oh, that's 2020. Go to 2025. Sahara Desert dust. It's Monday. This is, some stuff that God placed in my spirit. It make me mad. I get upset behind it. The second he revealed it to me, some things make me upset. And I'll give you a story behind it. Can you find it? May 2025. Okay, don't give a particular date. I just want the 2025 to be here, okay? And I'm going to give you a story. I'm giving you this story because based on what God just put in my spirit, and it upset me. Just pull it up. Pull up any one. We know it's in 2025, but just you can bring back the last one. Don't matter. Can't find it. I'm saying this, and I'll give you the story, okay? Is that it? There you go. May 11th, 2025. Dust plums off West Africa. You know where that dust is coming? To the United States. Okay? Could you see how many miles it is from West Africa to America, to Texas? 6,000 how many? 6,147 miles from West Africa to Texas. I want to show y'all something, okay? How is this West Africa? The dust comes from here, makes it over all this body of water, and make it to Texas. I want you to see the body of water. It doesn't fall. How is it that dust don't fall? It's 6,147 miles. How does that dust make it from there to there? Okay? So now I have to give you why I'm mad. They used to have a, we got to be careful. Well, let me give you this story before I give you about the witch. There used to be a person I knew, and they went to Africa, Chad. They called me. Our timelines are completely different. So it was 12 o'clock where I was, but it was like 8 or 9 o'clock where they was. So they called me. I'll tell you who it is. It was Apostle Smith. They called me. Well, he called me. He said, man, a whole lot of stuff going on around here. There's a whole lot of chanting. It wasn't chanting naturally, but he heard witches chanting for him. One of the guys that he took with him said he had a dream. And the witches showed up in the dream and said, you should have never come here. You'll never leave. That's what they told him. So his pastor called me. Hey, man. And I knew he was scared. So, man, there's a whole lot of chanting going on around here. Chanting. Chant back. He's saying that to me. I said, all right, man. I said, don't worry. I'll pray and I'll see what the Lord will say. As I'm praying, God said that these spirits, that they went to Africa without permission. They went thinking that the anointing would keep them. I'm like, okay. God began to reveal that to me. And he said, what's controlling or what's over that is the eye of Horus. If you don't know what the eye of Horus is, it dates back to the Egyptian days of Pharaoh. These are one of the gods that they had of Egypt. God said, this is the God of Egypt that governs Africa, that anything that comes in and anything that goes out, that this spirit knows when they're coming and when they're leaving, if they're going to leave. So I'm praying, right, that God will do his thing. God finally does his thing. They come back, but they don't know what they came back with. They came back, they had ministry as usual. But in them having ministry, some of them got sick. Yes. Children, Satan himself was speaking through some of them in their ministry. Yes. The entire household, that ministry went bananas. Spirits control everything. And I asked God the question. I said, God, what's going on? Why did this happen? Know what he said? He said they brought the dust in their clothes back from enemy legal grounds. Wherever the dust was is where they could be. Purpose. Right? It have a purpose. It doesn't leave from West Africa 6,147, 1,000 something miles or whatever. 6,147, that's what's right. Miles that it will travel, and it travels over that body of water. So what I just saw is somebody trying to use dust. So now I have to explain it. Why I'm praying against it. Why would they use dust? Because how did God? Okay. He would create man from the dust of the earth. Watch this, please hear me. That dust that was trying to be released here, which I'm going to consume it by fire, let every satanic and demonic spirit that is trying to release dust, I decree and I declare now in the name of Jesus, let that dust cleave to them, let it stick to them. I decree and I declare, let multiple destruction, double destruction come upon anybody that's trying to release satanic and demonic dust in the atmosphere. Let me explain what the dust is for so you'll understand it. I'll explain it. What did God tell Adam after he died? He said, after you fell, he said, from the dust you came what? So that dust was for death, for them to return back to the dust. It was a sign to kill you. But today, let an east wind and a west wind remove satanic and demonic dust, any demonic particles that is trying to be released in this atmosphere. Over the life of anybody here, I decree and I declare, demonic dust, destroy your cinders. If you cannot discern, sermons are useless if the Spirit of God ain't behind it. Forget it. They're useless. It's just, you just got knowledge. You just got knowledge. You didn't get understanding, neither did you get wisdom. There was no knowledge that was given. There was nothing that was revelatory, that was revelation to where the Spirit of God can reveal it. So because you didn't have it, what you got, you could have read yourself. You just didn't know how to put it in order. Like they're trying to kill us in this house. You gonna let me see it? You in trouble if I see it. You in trouble. Because where it came from, I'm going to make sure it returned. And I'm telling it to return to kill the person that sent it. Now, you know what Exodus 22 and 18 say. Suffer the witch not to live. So they had a witch that used to come in here and tried to use the dust. And God let me, I said, oh, dust throwers. You trying to throw dust in here. You dust thrower. Okay, dust thrower. I commanded that dust to cleave to your organs. Yeah, to cleave to your esophagus, to cleave to your breathing apparatus. Let's see if you can breathe through your dust that you released. Now, I'm going to tell you, don't get offended when I say this, okay? It's crazy that the church is the only place that get offended by what pastors say. You can go to a grocery store, people cuss you out. And they just crazy. But the pastor say something. I just can't believe the pastor said he's the pastor. That don't even make no sense. I don't understand it. And I'm just saying, but this pastor ain't a sissy. No offense to the sissies, but this pastor ain't one. Now, please let me educate you on this, okay? I know something. I just can't believe he said the word sissy in church. That's the problem. We ain't saying it. Okay. The sissy is a spirit. Now I get to teach you on every word that I say. Okay? When you look at people that have those lifestyles, if you watch it, hear me, many of them function with the same personalities. Their voice is elevated. Their mannerisms, that's not a normal pattern of behavior. This is a spirit that had the ability to transfer to somebody else. So the pattern of their behavior would all be the same.